Hey YouTubers, don't forget to subscribe and follow me on these social media platforms. Enjoy the video. At the beginning of the movie, we start in darkness as we hear Beerus's voice tell somebody that he needs to destroy planet Vegeta. From there, we jump into King Cold, Frieza, and all of his men arriving for the very first time on planet Vegeta. It's there where they quickly assert their dominance and their vast superiority over the Saiyans and quickly take advantage of them. King Vegeta decides that it's best for the Saiyans' survival in order to bow to Frieza and make sure that they do everything that he whims. But it's quick to see that King Vegeta isn't really the type of character who's going to take Frieza and King Cold's authority laying down. That's not how the Saiyans interact. That's not how they won planet Vegeta. It's there that we get to see King Vegeta beginning to believe that maybe he can prep his son to defeat Frieza from the very beginning. This is why Vegeta has such a grudge against Frieza, and Frieza has been taking such loyal care of Vegeta over the last couple years when we met him in Dragon Ball Z. They both have grinds to pick with each other. I think from there we spend a little bit more time on planet Vegeta and before Frieza destroyed the planet itself in order to establish that a couple years have gone by. Prince Vegeta has grown up into a much stronger warrior than most other Saiyans, and Goku and Broly are born. During this time, Frieza's been using the Saiyans in order to do his bidding because of their unique power structure. As the years go by, Broly is born, and it's clear from the offset that he is not a very strong warrior. And because of Frieza's new policy, they start sending off Saiyans who are not as strong as possible to lower level planets in order to conquer them with the moon. But Paragus, on the other hand, is a very proud Saiyan, someone who wanted to raise his son on planet Vegeta. And even though Paragus doesn't realize it, he blames King Vegeta for his son's absence. This is why he decides to leave planet Vegeta, find his son, and raise him into the strongest warrior possible so he can get his revenge on Vegeta. During this interaction, it becomes very clear to the audience that Paragus doesn't understand the influence that Frieza has over the Saiyan race. In fact, very little of them do. They really think that even though they're just working for Frieza, King Vegeta is still the one calling all the shots, and he's the one who specifically made the directive to send his son Broly away. This angers Paragus to no end, and this is why he makes that pledge in order to raise his son to be a strong enough warrior in order to take out King Vegeta. During that time skip between Paragus going off to find his son, we get more information about Bardock and that he has decided to become a loyal member of the Frieza Force, going to planet and conquering for his emperor. But because of this, Bardock understands what Frieza's role is in everything going on in the Saiyan society, and he has some inclination through rumors that he hears that Frieza might be willing to actually destroy their planet. In fact, that was probably his plan all along. One of the reasons for this is that Frieza's become weary of the concept of a Super Saiyan and maybe even a Super Saiyan God through all the Zenkai boosts that he's seen throughout the last couple years with the Saiyans. Putting them on missions has literally shown Frieza and all of his forces that the Saiyans are not a race to be reckoned with, and that one of them could potentially destroy him in the future. Once again, on the eve of Frieza destroying planet Vegeta, Bardock finally gets back to Gine. They acquire a Saiyan pod and send off Goku to Earth in order to make sure that both of their children survive the incoming blast from Frieza. Meanwhile, we see Frieza preparing to destroy planet Vegeta as per Beerus's request. The resulting shockwave of the planet's destruction gets everybody's attention: Goku, Vegeta, and Broly. This is how we end the very first act of the film and set up the future of this movie, the first 20 minutes or so. But then we get to the here and now and directly into the fight between Broly, Goku, Vegeta, and Frieza and how that all plays out. We open up on a space view shot of a desolate planet in the middle of nowhere as a classic Frieza ship moves into frame. Various voices give the audience context that the Frieza Force is once again up to its usual ways. A squad of grunts is sent to investigate the surface level of the planet, and they are shocked to find a very powerful warrior living amongst the ruins. This is Broly. The orange alien that we see in the trailer is quickly dispatched by the legendary Super Saiyan before Paragus steps in and uses his mind control device in order to spare the green woman. Paragus notices the scouters warned by these grunts and instantly knows that they're part of the Frieza Force. Without hesitation, he asks to speak to Lord Frieza. The news is quickly moved through the chain of command until Frieza makes his way to the deserted planet to meet these two isolated Saiyans. Frieza realizes instantly that Broly's power is something special, even if it hasn't been fully refined yet. And in a strange turn of events, Paragus pledges his allegiance to Frieza as he mourns for their loss of their beloved planet Vegeta. Under his breath, he curses Beerus, the god of destruction, for the death of their planet. A wicked smile crosses Frieza's face. Remember, this is a version of Paragus who has a vendetta to pick with King Vegeta and his son Prince Vegeta. Given the fact that they banished his son for having a low power level, that's the irony of Broly's character in this version of the story. He's not strong from birth, and he actually falls into the same thing that we believe Goku fell into before it was made canon otherwise. At the same time, this is a Paragus who would have understood what Beerus was given everything we know from Dragon Ball Super. They're not retconning a lot of different things from Dragon Ball Super. It's clear from Vegeta's flashback that during his lifetime, Beerus once visited the planet and made his presence known to the entire Saiyan race. So with this, I'm pitching the idea that Paragus would have understood what a god of destruction was and blamed him for the destruction of the planet, despite the fact that everyone would be saying for so long that it was taken out by some strange meteorite. He believes, at least at this point, that he would have known better. The irony of which is that he doesn't understand that Frieza was the one that blew up the planet, but we'll get to that later. From there, we jump to Beerus and Whis zipping through the entire universe in order to make their way to the Capsule Corp for the latest party. Let's just say it's Bra's first birthday, in order to ease the reference as to where this is taking place after the Tournament of Power. So basically a year has gone by, a year and some change really, and Goku is really looking for his next major challenge. During this party, a strange energy approaches the planet that alerts even Beerus. When the others sense it too, they set out to the Arctic regions in order to investigate where this is coming from, but they're shocked to find another Frieza Force ship on planet Earth. And it's with that Frieza exits the ship to meet Goku and Vegeta, who are the first to arrive. Everyone else is taking their sweet time to get there by taking Bulma's ship, but this allows us for some fun comedic scenes between Beerus, Whis, and everybody else. Frieza approaches Goku and Vegeta and explains that he has come to receive the wish promised to him before participating in the Tournament of Power. He needs to bring back something to life. Vegeta is quick to remind him that he no longer needs his wish because Whis brought him back to the life at the end of the tournament. Frieza laughs and says that it isn't his life that he's going to be reviving, but that of the Saiyan race. Vegeta is in complete shock by this, and Frieza is just completely beside himself as he recalls the massive potential of the Saiyans that was showcased during the Tournament of Power. Frieza explains in a cryptic fashion that he was tricked into being fearful of the Saiyans' potential when he should have been fostering it all along. He wants to use the promise of a Dragon Ball wish in order to correct that mistake of his. Behind him, Paragus and Broly emerge from the ship, and Goku and Vegeta acknowledge Broly as the warrior giving off such a strange energy that they felt before. Paragus recognizes his prince and attempts to communicate with him, but Frieza is really quick to interrupt, claiming that the prince has already sought the Dragon Balls once in order to wish for eternal life. In fact, the Saiyan prince has had multiple opportunities to wish back his people, but instead has forgotten about his planet, his people, and most importantly, his Saiyan pride. Right here we see that Frieza is really playing heavily into Paragus' core beliefs as a Saiyan, and using everything that Vegeta has been saying over the last couple years in order to work around and make Paragus not like Vegeta. It's really clever on his part, and I think that this would be a great addition to the movie. Anyway, it's this revelation that forces Paragus to instruct Broly to fight Vegeta, as the main thrust of the film's conflict gets underway. As the trailer suggests, Vegeta takes it upon himself to fight Broly at the beginning, but Broly's ever-increasing strength eventually gets the better of him. This eventually forces Goku to step in and take over after Vegeta is briefly taken out of the match. While it appears that Broly cannot actually compete with Goku and Vegeta at the beginning, Goku has to go through his various Super Saiyan transformations only to realize that this new Saiyan has an ability that matches him every single step of the way. In the meantime, Vegeta, who we've already suggested is briefly out of the fight, is approached by Paragus, who shares with him the backstory of where they've been this entire time. As it turns out, Paragus was an elite Saiyan who served under Vegeta's father and Frieza, but instead of serving through brute force, he helped with his scientific mind and was never much of a fighter. In fact, it was the anger towards King Vegeta that really set Paragus in motion and allowed him to not not only become stronger himself, but also train Broly into the elite fighter that they're fighting at this point. Paragus uses his scientific mind in order to develop a device to control Broly's power, because during his training it becomes so unstable that it's almost threatening the world in which they were living on. And in the meantime, with their banishment, the two of them actually missed the real cause of Planet Vegeta's destruction, and they wrongfully assumed that it was actually caused by the god of destruction, who was mad after Broly attacked him. And you can see how this thought would actually breed a growing hatred in Broly's heart, as the thought of Beerus sends him into a slow spiral of rage that only serves to increase his power. And this actually sends Paragus in a desperate effort to control his son, using his knowledge to create a device that allows him to control Broly's mind and keep his power at bay. And as the years go by, Paragus shares with Broly the history of their people, the power of the Saiyans, and the creation of the first Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan God. This is where we get a lot of our history from the Saiyans and probably recreate what we know about the Saiyans, where they came from, and everything involved in that. Probably for more of a future use, sequels, and also anything else that they do with the Dragon Ball series. This is really about just telling Broly's story and coming full circle with where Dragon Ball Super began, and having what I would consider a closure for Beerus, Broly, Goku, Frieza, and Vegeta's character, along with the Saiyan history. Anyway, of course, one of the things that we would be showing is that these flashbacks are really much intermixed with the fight going on between Goku and Broly, and as the people on the sidelines watch from afar with a lot of comedic moments thrown in, it's not going to be doom and gloom the entire time. And Frieza, watching all of this, is completely besides himself with the power and prospect of harnessing the Saiyan's potential for his own gain. Remember, this is the same Frieza that we met in the Tournament of Power. He still wants to muddle under his breath that he's going to take over the multiverse, and Zeno and all the gods of destruction won't be in power for long. This is still his driving force, and he wants to use the Saiyan power in order to do that. And remember, Paragus is watching this fight as he explains the story to Vegeta, sharing his hatred for Beerus and his remorse that Vegeta's resolve is as weak as his father's. And Vegeta, in a scene resembling his death on Namek, picks himself up off the ground and tells Paragus that it wasn't Beerus that destroyed Planet Vegeta, but Frieza. This revelation shatters Paragus's worldview as he confronts Frieza, who doesn't even deny the accusation. Paragus lashes out at Frieza, but he's quickly put down by his emperor, and this drives Broly just completely crazy as the death of his father sends him roaring after Frieza. And despite not showing it through transformations, Broly's power completely knocks Frieza off guard with the power that he's gained with his fights with Goku and Vegeta. Frieza fights back in his golden form, but he is quickly taken down as Broly's anger awakens the legendary Super Saiyan form. And once again, Goku is forced to team up with Frieza in order to fight a much more powerful foe, but this time it's just too much for them. Broly easily overpowers the two and seemingly kills them both in the process of destroying the planet. And it's here where Beerus takes his stand and instructs Whis to use his reverse time technique in order to make it clear to Goku and Vegeta that the only way that any of them could win against Broly's power is to actually take the time to fuse. I think one of the things that you could do here, if you wanted to actually buy time and make it very clear that Goku and Vegeta could learn the fusion dance in order to turn into Gogeta and take out Broly in a red or blue form, you can have Whis put them in his staff room, which obviously from Fakatsu no F we know is a very strange time displacement, and have a fight between Frieza and Broly in order to last just a couple of seconds, or maybe in classic Dragon Ball Z form, you know, fight him for about a minute in order for us to learn this stuff and have enough time. Anyway, when Goku and Vegeta come back, they end up turning into Gogeta, red and then blue, and quickly take out Broly. The guy ends up dying and everyone kind of lives happily ever after. Frieza once again sulks off into the distance, not actually getting his wish, and Goku is yet again looking for the very next challenge as everyone just has a laugh. Anyway guys, that is my pitch for Dragon Ball Super Broly. Given everything that we know thus far, I've been trying to really incorporate everything that we've seen from trailer 1 and trailer 2. Obviously, my original pitch on this matter, even though I've taken stuff from that original pitch, I really, you know, it's just different. It's never going to be the same thing as it was, and whether or not it ends up being as good as I really wanted it to be is beyond the point. I would have actually preferred, before we knew that Gogeta was coming into it, spoiler alert if you didn't know that, before we knew that, I really wanted Beerus to actually step up and fight Broly. I wanted Broly to be older than Goku and Vegeta and actually have some memory, or maybe even being on the elite Saiyan Force guard actually protecting and serving with King Vegeta or stuff like that. That's not what we're getting. All three of these kids, Vegeta, Broly, Goku, all of them are born around the same time, given the newest trailer, so we have to kind of work that into the pitch, and that's what I try to do here. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. And if you guys want more of these pitches, then make sure to really support and share this out, because as hard as these things are, they're very fun and very interesting to do. And this is what I would really like to spend most of my time on YouTube. So I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. It's been real.